Hey guys, Jay up here, and in the background there's going to be some more Black Ops 3 multiplayer gameplay, but I'm going to actually talk about something that's a little bit weird. As you know, we had more stuff get put into supply drops as of recently, and I was over on the Black Ops 3 subreddit, and I was looking around at things, and I came across this link, and I'll try to link the images in the description if I can. I'm not going to try to link the subreddit, because I have a feeling that line of code is going to be deleted, or maybe the image will get deleted. I managed to save it just in case, but there's a guy a couple months back who started talking about like what was going on at Treyarch and supply drops and COD points and all that kind of like stuff. And I read through this, and according to the people, at least on the subreddit, this was released a couple months back. So this was before we knew about the MP40 or the HG40, whatever it's called now, the MX Grand and stuff like that, if I recall correctly. And everything he said so far has pretty much come true. The only thing that we haven't seen just yet is a new specialist, which he claims there are two that are going to be coming down the pipe. And then what I have been wanting or wouldn't mind seeing is like skinning your weapon, but for all we know, he talks about we might not actually see it. But he goes on to talk about how it goes back to Advanced Warfare, and they were setting it up, and they wanted to have like a supply drop system to give you stuff so you can keep playing. It didn't start out as a microtransaction concept. It started out as just as playing. So I guess normal supply drops and, crypto keys will come down that, but it said it comes around 2014 and Activision sees like performance and DLC content is kind of like going down because after Ghost kind of crashed, things weren't going too well. And they decided that CSGO was doing very, very well. So they wanted to implement a supply credit system and stuff like that so where you could actually buy said cases. And I guess Advanced Supply Drops were doing very well. This was the first model over in Advanced Warfare. They had put in the new items, and people were paying just because there are new items that actually had stat changes that you couldn't simply just get easily by opening supply drops. Like, this was physical things that were really, really different. But it didn't start out that, and zombies, and I guess switching over to Black Ops 3, apparently, according to this guy's text, it says that Black Ops 3 was pretty much done in July before release, especially zombies too, and they were forced to rework their entire model. So the mini perks we see is what they were forced into supply drops. It goes on to talk about how Treyarch supposedly negotiated with Activision that they would, only be cosmetic type things. And at first they supposedly agreed with this, but then when they saw that once these supply drops were released, they were, and I think the number in here, they were doing 5 times less as Advanced Supply Drops were in Advanced Warfare. So they decided to immediately change up that system and make it where there are actual physical different weapons in the game, and that's what it talks about in here, because they only wanted to do like Knife Ants. They thought they could come to a compromise with only cosmetic, and it was just not working, so they were forced to actually put it in. And it talks about how at this point Awakening DLC was practically finished. There were 2 DLC weapons, the MX Grand, a pistol, and an MP40 planned to be included with the first DLC. And then it was scrapped entirely. So the MX Grand and a weak pistol, and it says purposefully made to be a bad weapon, by the way, are finished and put on hold. The MP40 still only likely to hold out. And then why is this letting? He decided to actually let this be known because he says most of the people who are working over there at Treyarch really do not like what is going on. They are basically taking something they really love making and like a really good product, and they're getting screwed over. And he talks about and goes on about how like even all this COD point money is not even getting dispersed within the employees at Treyarch. That it, for all he knows, it's getting put into Activision's bank or some of the people who are supporting it and the higher ups. But it talks about why you haven't seen Vonhar talk about all this is because he's extremely pissed off. Like, he's been fighting for us the entire time trying to keep this stuff out of the game, but apparently failed. That's why, and he talks about like that he took a vacation all of a sudden the week that this stuff was dropping. He couldn't do anything about it, and he was just really pissed off. So if all this stuff is true, and I'm reading this, and I'm gonna leave this down in the comment section below. If all of this is true, we shouldn't be going after Vonderhaar at all. Like, I know everyone, if the joke is, damn it, Vonderhaar, or something like that, but if he's actually been fighting for us, as this Imgur thing says from Reddit, then this is really messed up, and that they were trying to make the perfect system, because I think it also talks about here how wager matches were, or he heard mentions of wager matches returning for crypto keys, but COD points cannot be wagered due to gambling lawsuit concerns. So that could be a possible reason why we haven't seen wager matches yet, is because they dumped the COD point system on us, and because gambling issues, we were not allowed to actually have wager matches. And if this is even more true, that pisses me off beyond belief, because wager matches was one of the best things that happened to Call of Duty back in Black Ops 1. We didn't get to see it in Black Ops 2, and now we had the chance to have it back in Black Ops 3, and it did not happen. This really, really pisses me off more than any of the stupid microtransaction DLC. Like, you don't have to pay for it, right? But we missed out on an entire freaking chunk of a game simply because COD points were to become a thing. That is the most infuriating thing. But then he goes ahead and talks about, like I said, this is a couple months back. This is before, I believe, we knew about the MX Garand, the shotgun pistol, and the MP40. And he goes back and he said this a couple months back. And he's like, the new weapon's coming out. The MP40 will come out someday, MX. And he said, there are new specialists planned. There are 2 planning right now. The plan is to allow the specialists to be purchased separately as well. They want to do this for weapons, but there's no chance that will get approved. So they might have tried to come out and let us purchase the weapons, like kind of, I think what Ghost did at first, where we could purchase the Reaper and the Maverick separately, but they didn't allow this. They put them in supply drops for a bullshit lottery system. So they were thinking about doing that with specialists as well, which I can see is fine. If you want to play as more specialists, buy it. I kind of wish we got it for free, and that may have been the initial plan off the back. Like with each DLC pack, we get weapons, we get a specialist, or every 2 we get a specialist, things like that. So. And then he starts talking about, and this is something I had been saying that I would have been fine with overall back in, and I think I mentioned this pretty early in the video, but since the beginning of the game, it's like I wouldn't have fine if they threw in skins. So like the Kuda looks like the UMP or MP5, the KN looks like an AK-47 or stuff like that. And he says in this little article that there was a plan to have those as variants so you could reskin your gun, but now he's not so sure, and he might actually be seeing it come out as new weapons instead, kind of like following the current model where they're dumping new weapons into the supply drops. So if all of this is true, and I'm taking it with a grain of salt because it's just a post on the subreddit, if this is all true, this is some of the most bullshit I've seen come out in Call of Duty. Like, I really think that it might be because a lot of stuff he has said before it happened has actually happened. And that, like, Von Hart took his vacation and all that stuff like that. Like, if all this is true, then the greed is really starting to get real. Like, we play Call of Duty because we enjoy Call of Duty. I used to be a PC player. I started on Halo, and then I played Combat Arms, and then I saw, this was when Modern Warfare 2 came out, that's when I bought an Xbox 360, and I switched over. It looked amazing. It was fun. And then when we got MW3 model, like, the game wasn't the best, but they did something with DLC that was phenomenal. They gave us something new every single month. They even gave free maps, which we had, I don't think we had seen yet. And then we start getting closer and closer, and then we start getting new weapons for once, which that was cool, and we had to buy them separately. You kind of wish if you had the Season Pass, you got all DLC weapon free. I had a problem with this back in one of the CODs when I had the DLC Pass. I think it was Black Ops 2, and they started putting out all the camos, and I didn't get it for free, and I was really pissed off at the fact that I paid for the Season Pass for DLC, and I did not get everything. I think I got really pissed off, and it seems kind of justified, and then they changed the wording so you can't really get pissed. But now it's like you buy the Season Pass and all you get is the maps. And I'm pretty sure they have it labeled now. So I guess if you just want the maps, buy that. But now they're putting out all this other stuff and they make it where there's a huge paywall. There are going to be a lot of people who come over to Call of Duty thinking that it's going to be fun and want to use every single thing that they should be able to in the game. And they just cannot. It is that simple. You cannot put in enough time and effort. I have 17 damn days played in Black Ops 3. 17 days. I still do not have the wrench, the brass knuckles, or the MX Garand, and they just released, I think, 5 more new items, a sniper, HG40, and 3 other melee weapons. 17 days played. Out of all those crypto keys, I do not even was caught up to the last DLC drop, right? The system they got set up now is quite honestly the most bullshit system ever. At least with previous games. Like, if you put in the grind, you can get everything. And I'm going to bring up Combat Arms right now. Like, they had a system where you can buy guns through their micro DLC thing, but you could also grind out if you really wanted to them. This, I believe, it is almost damn near impossible, unless you are extremely lucky, to grind out and get every single thing they're putting into the game. Either common supply drops, rare supply drops. I have opened so many of either, and I'm not going to lie, I've had people donate, and I've spent some of my own money too, on COD points to get some of these new items. And I still do not have the new items. I think there's now 8 I don't have with this new set that has dropped. And like I said, 17 days played. That is the #1 thing that pisses me off the most. In any game that you're paying $60 or for the full game right off the bat, you should at least be able to earn everything through grinding it out. Once you get into a system where you're paying for the game and then paying for a chance to get items in said game, then it's starting to get pissed off. I believe CSGO does it perfectly, okay? You pay, I think, $15 for the game, okay? And then they have cases and keys, okay? The only thing that is different in their games with those cases, it's purely cosmetic, okay? I mean, yes, you can get different knights, but they do the exact same thing as all the other knights. I mean, we've even had issues with the melee weapons coming out of Black Ops 3 where they had different stat changes than the knife. I think the brass knuckles, the left trigger still can go faster than the normal combat knife because I think they just carried over the fist animation through brass knuckles on it. The iron gem had a faster recovery rate. Yeah, they did patch it. But we've had these issues where it's no longer cosmetic, and I think it's really starting to get deep into it with the weapons being released. Yes, the marshals suck if you're not running them akimbo. If you're running the akimbo, they are really good. Shadowclaw, really good, keeps you off the map. MX Grand, better stats than Shiva, has a smaller mag and reload. Still, very good. I've picked it up and I like it. And now they're releasing a bolt-action sniper, a submachine gun. Yeah, we're getting on the pay-to-win thing here. We're getting deep into it. I mean, they need to come out with a system where they can be bought separately. And I know this is a long video. We're like 11 minutes and 40 seconds deep into this, but after reading this, it does get you really pissed off at the fact of what is going on in Call of Duty community right now. Or not the community, but with the developers and the higher-ups. It just doesn't seem like they give a shit anymore, okay? Once they start seeing the numbers go up and that green, and it's just like, okay, we don't care about our product, we only care about the thing. And the thing is, when you stop caring about your product, that's how things start dying. Like, from what I've seen with COD Online, it seems right. Like, it's a free-to-play, but it has microtransactions, but for the most part, the microtransactions are only cosmetic. Perfect. If you want to have a microtransaction-dominated game, give us that, okay? I'll even pay for COD Online. It looks fun. It looks cool. Give it to me. Not going to spend money on microtransactions. I'm telling you right now. So, I'm just getting really frustrated. We were really hoping that Black Ops 3 was going to be the one that stopped this shit in its tracks with this microtransaction DLC. And with this image, it seems like they have no choice. I think Activision at this point is just basically giving all the Call of Duty producers the finger and said, you're going to do what we're telling you to do. Otherwise, just get over it. So, this is unfortunate. Like I said, the link will be in the description. Hopefully, as long as it stays up. If it goes down, you're going to have to let me know in the comments, and I'll try to re-put it back up. But ooh, it's a long video, but let me know what you guys think. Does it actually really piss you off like it pisses me off at the stuff they're doing, or what? So, I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.